Hi, I'm John from Unix Circuits, and today we're going to look at our dual Opteron HDMA Arima system board. This system board made Rackable systems. It's a great 64-bit board that just fits perfectly in all these servers. So we sell this system board in a variety of configurations. First of all, we have just the system board, which is system board pull, and we have a few kits together here too that you can put it together with RAID controllers, etc. All of our system boards come with the ATX plate, so you have everything you need. Usually we have onboard CPUs and heat sinks, everything ready to go. The other systems we have is our 2U half-depth Rackable with the PCI card slots. This on 4 internal hard drives, nothing hot swap. Or lastly, our hot swap bay array with the 4 hot swap hard drives. And typically this comes with a 3-wear RAID card on a PCX riser. So let's take a look at a tour of this system board. First of all, you have an extended ATX power connector. You have 8 memory sockets. This uses DDR1 registered ECC. It can run with DDR1 PC 2100 or faster, all the way up to PC 400 megahertz, which is PC 3200. You have dual Opteron CPUs. These are 64-bit, single or dual core AMD Opteron CPUs. Typically these CPUs burn under 80 watts each, so it's relatively low power CPUs. You also have your AMD bridge chip. The AMD CPUs communicate between 800 to 1.2 gigahertz on the serial interlink bus. This is the bridge chip that'll talk to that. You have onboard silicon image 4-port SATA. You have IDE and floppy still. You have onboard ATI RAGE video. You have Broadcom gigabit Ethernet. You have 2 ports. Take a look at the backside here. These are your 2 gigabit Ethernet ports. You have your video, serial console, USB, keyboard and mouse. Some other things that you have on your system board are a lot of fan connectors here, and I believe there's one over here right next to the power supply. And all these fan connectors come into the BIOS so you can spin up fans and do fan control via BIOS. You have your header board over here that you would usually plug in your serial console, which would go to your roamer Ethernet management. So if you need to do remote management, you can do remote console out of the system board. So that's the system board we have here. 8 memory sockets. It'll address up to 32 gigs of memory. Typically 16 is all you'll be able to afford with 2 gig DIMMs. And it has dual core system processors. So let's take a look at our other chassis. This one doesn't look as glamorous and doesn't have those hot swap hard drives, but you do get a lot more in your package. Right here, the hard drives mount is they mount on the side here, and you have up to 4 hard drives you can put inside this machine. 3, 4, like that. These are SATA-based hard drives. This particular chassis does not have the Ethernet management, it just has the serial console management. So each of the serial console would then be used to go out to a digi-terminal server to give you Ethernet access. The nice thing about this chassis is that you can put in PCI risers right here, and you can have up to 2 full-length PCI slots. If you were to reconfigure the machine so that your hard drives are on this side, you can put your PCI cards right over here. Again, you have all your standard goodies. You have your SATA on board, and you have your up to dual-core CPUs, and this is the Arima HDMA system board. So let's take a look at our half-depth Rackable hot swap chassis array. This is the most popular chassis array. Very short, very easy to operate for your home because it's very compact form factor and actually very quiet in the 2U. Fits 4 hot swap SATA bay. You can put SATA hard drives in here. You have configurations online with 4 hard drive brackets or that. Let's open it up. It just slides forward here. You see inside that you have a hard drive tray with 4 SATA ports. The hard drive tray will unscrew here, slide forward, open on up, and you can see the system board inside. So let's take a look inside the system right here. You have your 8 memory sockets. The system currently doesn't have any memory. You have your PCIX RAID card. This is a 3-wear AMCC RAID card. This is what it looks like. You got 4 SATA ports coming out. You've got hardware RAID cache, and it's made by 3-wear AMCC. Typically we have the 9500 and 9550 model available in this. It's a PCIX style riser that sits here that actually gives you room for a full height card. Other things in the case, you have your AC power supply. We also have 48 DC options. It's a 400 watt power supply, so it gives you plenty of power in here. You have your roamer Rackable Ethernet management. This is what makes it a server, because you can boot this off of DHCP configure it, and then you get full console access to this, just like your key KVM coming out the front. You can get that all through Ethernet via web, THCP, DCP/IP, and this then runs off a DHCP server to grab an IP address to show you what the configuration is. This particular system has these smaller blower-based 1U heat sinks. You really don't need that much power. In the other system we showed you with the big heat sinks, this here, you can see that they're much smaller. The CPUs don't put out that much wattage. Your SATA backplane too, we have different versions. We have a SATA, this is a SATA only version backplane right here, but you can ask if you want SAS support, we can get you backplanes that support SAS. So let's take a look at powering on our system right here. First of all, there's two power switches, one on the back and then one on the front here as well. It takes the systems a little bit longer when they have the Roamer Ethernet management for the Roamer system to boot, and then it'll allow the system to turn on. But I want to show you just how quiet that system was. This is a great home server because the fans are in the 2U form factor. They don't take up much speed. They spin at a lower velocity. They don't have as much noise. So our Roamer is now booted up and we have our system powered on. We can hit our power button to turn our system on. So let's take a look at our BIOS here. You can see here it's a Phoenix BIOS with dual AMD CPUs. Before we can enter into BIOS boot, we're going to have to see our Ethernet PXE boots and our 3-wear. Let's take a look at our Alt3 for our 3-wear configuration. Right now we don't have any drives available, so we're not going to be able to see anything. But sometimes you'll find that your drives have a certain RAID array built on them already, so you're going to have to delete units before you can rebuild. But this is the 3-wear BIOS manager for building RAID arrays. The PXE boot is a Broadcom boot, so it's not actually an Intel chipset. Some Linux operating systems require the older ones that you load a patch for the Broadcom system. Let's take a look here in BIOS. As you can see here that you've got 8 gigs of memory right now. You've got the transmission speed between the CPUs. We said it goes between 800 and 1.2. You can go with a faster speed CPU. You can go to the 1 gigahertz CPU interspeed connect. You can see here that you can have different slots that you can do as far as your boot devices that you want to boot off of here, your CD-ROM boot, and other network boot. We recommend if you want to boot off an external CD-ROM, we found that USB 2.0 causes problems on not all CD-ROMs being seen. You have power saving options here. You can do customized power savings. If you want to make your home-based server, you can do a lot of good power savings in this system right here. The other things too that I wanted to show you out here is your onboard RAID. This system here has a Silicon Image onboard RAID that's only supported under Windows. We don't recommend it. It's just only has Windows XP and Windows Server 2003 drivers, and they're not that easy to find. We really recommend you spend the money to go into the 3-wear hardware array. So that's a tour of our BIOS on our machine. You can exit right now and you'll see the boot banner come up again and just get a sense of how long it takes for the system to come up. It takes a little bit longer than normal systems to boot up, but just give it a little bit of patience and it'll come right on up for you the first time. You can see here that it says Opteron 250s. The 250 family right here is single core 2.4 gigahertz. The 270s, the 280s, and the 285 are the dual core processors. So that's our HDAMA Opteron Rackable server tour for you right there. You can order this machine at unixsurplus.com or call any of our sales reps at 877-UNIX-123.